Doc, Doc, can you hear me? Doc, we're on.
Yes.
We're on. Doc,
you should have gave me a count. Give me a countdown next time. Hold on. Hello, I'm the doctor. Hi, I'm Dr D&D. Welcome to my show. Oh, this is just a mess all over. Hello. Hello, everyone. Adventurers. Welcome to Dr. D&D. It's a show where I will be helping you, adventurers, traveling all across the lands, adventure better. All right, yeah. So we got that part done. I'm Doctor. Yeah. Yes, I'm Dr. D&D. Actually, my name is Dr. D&D. It's of half elven origin, but all the promotional material went with D&D, so we're just gonna stick with that. This is my goodness gracious. Magic is much better than technology. Sorry. This is my producer, Susie.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
She put all this together. A friend of mine is renting out their dungeon for us to shoot our show out of. So,
you mean our high-value production area, Doc?
Yes, our high. I mean, we can do better. We will do better in time. You understand, most of our coin went to making sure that you, the adventurer, are able to see this broadcast. As you know, that we've been sending out sending stones to all manner of adventuring guilds, the Encounter Guild, the Chromatic Chimera Guild, the Strategist Academy. We're just making sure that all of the adventurers around the world can see this. And the ones that we missed, we partnered with a Illithid who is forcefully projecting this into the mind of some unwilling patron. So hello, unwilling patrons. Welcome to the show.
We weren't supposed to say that, but live on air, that might get us into some sort of legal issues, but never mind, let's move on quickly, shall we? Thank you.
Right. Never mind about the part where we are forcefully projecting this in your mind. Okay.
Oh, please stop praying.
Don't worry, if they can project in their mind, I'm sure we can do some manner of erasing. We spent quite a bit of money to get those mind flayers. It's necessary.
Don't remind me.
Look, the content of this show is going to be the questions that we get from the lovely adventurers here. So we need to make sure that we talk to as many people as possible. And there's no price that I, Dr. D&D, am not willing to pay to make sure that we bring you the best show possible.
Oh, that would be wonderful if you were the one that was actually paying for it. My rapidly dwindling bank balance would say otherwise.
Time is money, and I've put quite a bit of time into this, so I think that our share of the budget is about equal.
I'm gonna go with a no on that one. Money is money, darling.
Time is also kind of money.
There's a show happening here. Should we perhaps?
Right. So what does one do to start a show? Goodness me.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we actually hear from our sponsors first? The people that actually put money in the bank.
Right. That would be swell, because they took the time to make an advertisement. So, it's kind of the same thing. So we can go ahead and talk to our sponsors. Time is money.
Past Charlie here to tell you about a few of our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds is our virtual tabletop of choice, providing us access to roles, tokens, maps, and more. You can try it today for free at fantasygrounds.com. While you're there, why not check out Fantasy Grounds Unity? World Anvil is a remarkable resource, whether you're a writer, GM, or player, organizing your campaign notes or building an entire world. Get forging today for free at worldanvil.com. And before we get into today's game, we'd like to shout out our friends at Andrews McMeel Publishing, who published the wonderful game Zweihander. If you haven't checked that out, you can catch it here on Wednesdays. We'd also like to mention Modifius, who manage and produce a wide range of RPGs. Whether you feel like being Dishonored, exploring a tale from the loop, or boldly going with Star Trek adventures, why not check out modifius.com.
We're back, Doc. We're back.
Right. Now that was some fine production value. That's what we should shoot for in the future. Speaking of production value, we also have a few other sponsors to thank. Dr D&D is presented to you by Mickey Marco's Magic Mimic Makery. Don't touch anything. Come on down to 5M's and take care of all your dungeons and home security needs. Mickey Marco, Magic Mimic Makery. Don't touch anything is located in the Market District of Nerve. No public restrooms. Yes, there is a restroom, but the door is a mimic, the sign is a mimic, the toilet is a mimic, and the toilet paper is one ply. Mickey Marco's Magic Mimic Makery. Don't touch anything. Your one-stop shop for hidden monsters. Dr. D&D is also brought to you by Bows and Aerosmith. If you think anyone has better equipment for your archery needs, you need to dream on, dude, because you're crazy. You don't need to be a king and queen to afford these prices, so get back in the saddle and walk this way for gear that will fill you with sweet emotion until you're crying. Bows is not selling toys in the attic or weapons to kill rats in the cellar. This is for folks that are living on the edge, so if you want to make a beastie ragdoll, come together to Bows and Aerosmith. Trust me, you don't want to miss a thing. All right, so now back to the show. There's a few things that I need you adventurers to be keenly aware of with this broadcast. I, Dr. D&D, have the unique talent to cross planes and different time streams. So you may hear things referenced or referred to that have not yet been invented in your time. If you get the inclination to take the information that you hear from the show and try to manipulate your time stream by inventing something that your world is not quite ready for, understand that your time stream and world tends to be smarter than you. So this could lead to terrible things, and trust me, some inventions will come in due time. Google is everywhere, and it will make its way to Faerun in good time. So, with that little disclaimer out of the way, I just want to apologize. Normally on this broadcast, I would attempt to find an adventurer to join me in providing you with the best advice possible. Unfortunately, this being the first show and our coffers running a bit low, I was unable. Never mind what I was just saying.
Doc, what's this? Who's this?
I thought you knew. You were supposed to take care of everything in the show.
I was, but I didn't have a portal contingency here. Who is this lovely guest that we have right now on air that we should probably address and welcome?
That we planned for. Hello, guest. Please state your name for the adventurers of the show that we totally planned for you to come on.
It appears as though our guest is having some sort of audio issues. They may be muted on their end of the sending stone. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. I'm odd. No, wait, that's not quite ready anymore. That's Ophelia.
Hello.
Ophelia.
Hello, Ophelia. Thank you for coming to the show as we discussed prior to this happening, because this is a well-oiled autonomous device that you plug in. What are those things called? Machine. Yes. I am on fire. Thank you.
I've had that before. No, it's Ophelia or Odd. I guess either works. In any case, yeah. I realize I don't actually have to put on the fake voice anymore. So, hi.
That
Lovely to meet you.
that's not strange in the slightest. It's lovely to meet you as well. Welcome to Dr. D&D, uh, the adventuring advice show. I will make the assumption with this whole portal nonsense that you are an adventurer of some sort, a caster, I presume.
Um, yes, but my magic does tend to get a little bit strange. Doesn't necessarily work the way that it should. Um, so I was just sort of standing here minding my own business, and then all of a sudden this portal opened up.
All right. Well, first, a few questions. You being a caster, I am going to first presume, do you use any sort of book to cast? No. Okay, so you're the other one. All right. Great. So that means that you cast things, and sometimes they don't go the way that you plan. Your magic is a bit wild.
That's kind of putting it mildly, yes.
Okay, yes, I've seen this. This is your type are always fun. Okay, great. So what advice do you believe that you could offer? We're doing the best we can to secure a less infested venue, but for the time, yeah. Thank you, Susie. She's gonna take care of them. It's fine. Right. So you are a wild mage sorcerer. Do you feel that you are able to give the adventurers at home any advice? Do you feel that you are up to that challenge?
I can give what advice I can. I'm not necessarily, sorry. It's really hard to get between the voices. I'm so used to talking sort of like this. Recently I got a whole bunch of memories back, and now I kind of talk like this.
Yeah, can we delve into that? What do you mean you're getting memories back? What is this part of some spell that you cast? Give us your history. Who are you exactly?
Well, my name was Ophelia. I am half a ladrin. A little bit complicated with the parentage there. So I came from the Feywild because I ran away. Things got a little bit hairy, and now I'm kind of in the middle of the High Forest.
High Forest. That's over in Faerun. Is that correct? Is that the material plane? I'm guessing this is where you're from.
I believe so. Honestly, when I came from the Feywild, I think something about my wild magic mixed with my half-human heritage ran a little bit roughshod on my memories.
Ah, yes, that's you wouldn't believe the amount of adventurers I talk to that have no idea where they came from or anything to do with their parents. It's quite common.
It's kind of a little bit of a trope at this point. It's very weird. How often it happens.
It's
almost
that
people would have made safeguards or something.
It's just as if people just wanted to start their life at one point and think about nothing that happened before. It's quite unfortunate, really. All right. So, well, that's good. That's good to know about you.
But
you
per your earlier question, I can maybe provide a little bit of knowledge, at least what I have. I'm still very early into this whole thing. It's not necessarily. I'm still learning, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, I mean, any experience level is going to be useful here. We have people who have just begun adventuring, and we have people listening that have been adventuring for quite some time. A bit fewer of those, to be sure, being able to resist the effect of the Mind Flayer and all, but that is not important.
Mind Flayers, what do you know about Mind Flayers?
Very quick production meeting for a moment here, Doc. Just a very quick aside.
Okay. One moment, Ophelia. Yes?
Just one moment. Doc, you promised me you'd bring me the highest tier talent that you could find, and here we are with a half a ladrin that was just randomly portaled in that's really just begun their adventuring career. What is this?
You know, if we had just a few more gold pieces, this would have been easily avoided with Rune of Security, which
Well, we could have had that, but somebody insisted on having a neon sign in the dungeon, didn't they?
It really sets the mood.
He's right, you know.
Thank you.
Except
Wait,
Alex.
you're not supposed to be listening.
Sorry.
Sorry.
We will just see me after the show, yes, please.
Oh, okay, of course. Well,
Thank
Odd, Ophelia, which do you prefer? I find it's always polite to make sure that we use the correct names for individuals, because you'd be an asshole if you did anything else.
Is that someone screaming?
Don't pay
Are they
attention
all right?
to that. It's fine. It happens
Honestly,
every now and
it
then.
becomes white noise after a little while. You stop hearing it.
I mean, they can only scream for so long before it's over.
Oh. Weird, but I'm not really one to kink shame. Well,
What's so funny about kink shaming? I don't find anything funny about it.
I mean, no, not at all. I'm not laughing in the slightest about kink shaming.
Okay, well, good. Moving on.
Oh.
I swear. I mean,
Getting
now
a little
that you've drawn attention to it, it's really all I can hear at this point. We really do need to find a much better venue. But we should move on, because the people listening, of their will or not, did not come to hear about kink shaming. They came to hear about questions that need to be answered. And before we can do that, I feel that it would be best to give a moment to our sponsors that help make this show possible, screaming bats and all. So first, I would like to begin with let me pull up the ad that they sent in. It's quite long. I apologize. Imagine a cave in which there are 3 prisoners. The prisoners are tied to some rocks. Their arms and legs are bound and their head is tied, so they cannot look at anything but the stone wall in front of them. These prisoners have been here since birth and have never seen anything outside of the cave. Behind the prisoners is a fire, and between them is a raised walkway. People outside the cave walk along this walkway carrying things on their head, including animals, plants, wood, and stone. So imagine that you are one of the prisoners. You cannot look at anything behind or to the side of you. You must look directly at the wall in front of you. When people walk along the walkway, you see the shadows of objects they are carrying cast on the wall. If you had never seen the real objects ever before, you would believe that the shadows of the objects were real. I say all that to say this: no matter what shadow comes next, what's always true is that the prices at Al Ligori's bookstore are the best in the land. So please, come to Al Ligori's bookstore and be enlightened. And Dr. D&D is also brought to you by the Philosopher's Scone. The adventuring life is a hard one, and every now and then it's nice to slow things down and treat yourself. Whether you're the boy that lived or the boy that blew his arm off and lost his brother's body, the leader of the Phantoms are trying to create metahumans. One thing is for sure: pastries are nice. So take a look at our huge menu, which some people call the Great Book of Everything, and toss us a coin or a spirit shard and let us bake your cares away at the Philosopher's Scone. So, with that, let's return to the show. And I believe that we have a few questions from guests that we should begin addressing. So, Susie, if you're able to just pull up a few of those on your pad of eye, your magic tome.
Absolutely. Although I do use the competition, the Warforged device. So let me just please sponsor us, Warforged, if you're listening. Okay, so dear Dr. D&D, I just finished my first real mission with the guards of Eden City, and well, I made a new friend. She's a little ghost girl named Jemima. Oh, how passé. And she lives inside of the graveyard, which I usually avoid, except on official business. Wow, that's where all the parties happen. Since we became friends, though, she keeps asking me to go to the graveyard and play with her. I don't think she knows that putting the undead back to sleep is kind of my bread and butter, or fish food, as my friend Mork would say. Who the hell is Mork? Anyway, my question for you is, how can I still be a good friend to Jemima if she finds out what I can do? Yours truly, Dorcas, God of Eden City, now offering community education classes on drug and alcohol awareness, fire safety, and proper paperwork protocols. Dorcas, we don't do free advertising on here, so pay up. But Doc, what would you say to this question?
Absolutely. That's quite the resume. Looking over this question, you're going to hear many common themes with the advice that I give you. And starting with that, honesty is generally going to be your best policy. If your duty is to put the undead back to sleep, it makes it very difficult to have an undead friend. Now, just because your duty is to put down the undead does not mean that you have to be efficient at that duty. If you choose to linger in your responsibility with your friend Jemima, I believe it was, I don't see that as breaking an oath, but at some point, you're going to have to choose your friend or the job. Ophelia, what do you have to say on the matter? Have you had any experience dealing with the undead or befriending the undead?
I haven't really had experience. Well, I got stabbed by a skeleton once. That kind of hurt. But I have had experience with friends that are a little bit different and might not necessarily could be conducive to healthy relationships. My friend Hal was kind of mean at first and like really rude and kind of sharp and uncaring, but I whittled him down and he was like my real best friend for a while there.
That sounds delightful and sweet. And that brings up a good point. Sometimes the power of friendship can change people. Now, generally speaking, oh, go ahead.
It can make people better than they were. Sometimes not everybody needs a friend, and if it's a ghost girl that needs a friend, then nobody should be judged by who they care for or who they love. Be it a ghost girl or a Shatterkai death monk or a weird Eladrin girl. Nobody should be judged for who they love.
It would sound very difficult to befriend a death monk.
Yeah, it took me a while. About 13 months. But I did
it. That's to be committed. And you know what, Ophelia, I'm so sorry. Which did you say you preferred?
Ophelia's fine.
You know what, Ophelia, you make a wonderful point. You should not judge this person for being an undead, and the power of friendship generally can change people. Now, the power of friendship cannot change a ghost from being dead to alive. That requires the power of divine magic. So I would say you should use the power of friendship to save up money for a resurrection spell so that your friend can be alive.
I agree.
And that's my prognosis. What do you think? What do you guys think about as that being a tagline? Is that good? That's my prognosis.
Let's workshop it, shall we?
Could use a little bit of work for sure.
Is it how I'm saying it? And that's the prognosis.
That's almost worse.
That was definitely worse. It
was the hat tip. That's never good.
It was too much.
No.
Yeah, it was a bit much. All right. So, Susie, would you like to add anything to this question, or shall we move on to our next adventurer?
Well, personally speaking, I've had way more fun with the undead than I ever had with the living, so go bog wild. Fuck the job. Anyway, next question. Are we ready?
Yes, the next yes, I'm ready. We really need to talk about what you do outside of this job. Yes, next question, please.
All right, okay. Dear Dr. D&D, I am a scientist with a particular guild in Ravnica. Let's call it Schmizet. original, and have always strived to combine my work in advancing technology and knowledge with the powers and workings of nature. Being a druid has always had me in an interesting position there, but recently I've begun to doubt whether my future truly lies with the guild. The blatant disregard for life was charming at first. I can understand that. But after saying goodbye to the first gross of co-workers and lab assistants, I began to worry that maybe this just isn't the price of progress. Maybe the guild really doesn't care and I should look for another path in life. Have you ever considered a radical career change just for the sake of morals? Can you give any advice? Yours, a foxy lady.
I personally I personally have a connection to this question. You see, I was not always a doctor. At one point in my life, I was dedicated to the study of magic. I worked at a college. I decided to put my talents towards helping people and not setting them on fire. So I am keenly aware of changing your life direction. And you know what? I fully support you realizing that you're not in a space in your life where you're happy. You know, I've talked to quite a few people who have diverted from their path. Some have sworn oaths, some have devoted their life to a particular form of martial combat, and they just want to change, and that's okay. So you know what? I fully support this, and if there's anyone that gives you any problems with it, you should tell them that your life is your own, and move on in whichever direction makes you makes you happy. How do you feel about that, Ophelia?
I think that that's a very good point. Definitely, you should follow the path that you think is best for you, not necessarily the one that people have intended for you your entire life. Growing up, I was raised a certain way, but I discovered that maybe that wasn't best for me, so I left. And that, honestly, it worked out great for me until I was abducted by cultists.
You hate when that happens. Just cultists are the worst. I'm very glad that you found your path in life, despite it being diverted. And I do hope that anyone involved in your capture was dealt with accordingly. Capturing people and being involved in cult is never good.
One became my best friend.
Was this the death monk that you were speaking of?
Yeah, our relationship's a little bit complicated.
I think it's a little bit toxic. We'll need to talk about that.
I mean, well, if you can send me back with a stone, I just sort of opened this portal myself.
Of course, I will. Any guess of the
You do house call, right?
What? Of course.
Just hold that thought.
Susie,
One moment. Hold that
Yes,
thought. I'll be
thank you.
right back.
Is that like a
Thank
party
you.
going on?
Hey, we're right next to a nightclub, and every now and then we have to deal with it. That's. I don't know how she always gets to the quiet. Oh goodness. Okay. All right. Yeah. It's best not to ask questions. She's very efficient.
I appreciate her. Definitely, she gets the job done. It's effective.
It's one of the things that you really look for in a producer. That and at least 6 years of experience. All right. So with that, I feel that we should move on to the next question. Just a review. Yes, go ahead and make the career change. It's your life. So, yes. Susie, if you're done dealing with our noisy neighbors, if you could just go ahead and give us the next question here.
Absolutely. Just bear with me 1 second. There's just a little bit of blood right there. Let me just get. Okay. Oh, this one has come in. Sorry. Viscous materials get everywhere. This one has actually come in from Odd. Bizarrely, I don't know how they got my number. Who are you? Hey, Doc. Hey, Miss Durenthal, Master Sorcerer here. What's your remedy for when wild magic gets a little too intimate. Asking
Oh.
for a friend, I'm sure.
Well, how very fortuitous for us that we happen to have a wild mage sorceress here ourselves. So, have you ever had an experience where your magic has put you in a bit of an intimate situation?
Well, what are we talking? Like the misapplied use of the grease spell, or are we talking in large?
Yes. Just
Um,
yes.
Let's
well,
cover all our bases, shall we?
I
The people
honestly
want to know.
haven't. I haven't personally had any experience with that, but I did have an incident where the rest of my party shared my wild magic surges for a short time.
Tell us about that. What ended up happening to them?
Well, it was kind of like what's happening here. I was using a spell, or my magic surged, and I wound up in a place that time had no meaning. Very similar to this, actually. Then I drank a wild magic potion. That's where I got my memories back. But afterwards, I started glowing bright. Usually, as a half Eladrin, I can change colors. Right now, I'm not, weirdly enough, despite how awkward and embarrassing the situation is. But I was cycling through my different colors. I was a little bit preoccupied at the moment. But when I came back, the bard had the ability to teleport for a short time, and then cast the grease spell on himself. So yes, we do have the misapplied use of the grease spell.
A useful spell, for sure.
The cleric nearly killed all of us with necrotic energy, but healed herself, which was good because we were just done fighting a mummy. Hal, my best friend, decided to grow 10 sizes that day. So yes, enlarge spell. Okay, so what you did there. It's just a little weird. I think we became closer as a team because of it, though, because honestly, everybody, after we killed the mummy, was too busy laughing to really have to worry about the fact that one of us could have killed all of us with a fireball.
You know, I have to say, it's not the worst thing that's ever happened with grease and enlarge being casted. All right.
Not generally.
I mean,
so you
far
can
as I
get
could
creative
tell,
just with
but
bells.
unfortunately, we'd get pulled off air if I told you about that summer. Doc, any thoughts?
I think all the thoughts that we have been brought on air. So I would say let's go ahead and move on to our next question. What do we have next here?
Okay, next up, dear Dr. D&D, my party thinks I'm useless and an idiot. When I try and do something, they think I'm crazy. I know I have issues, but I'm working on them. That's what they always say. Should I stay with my party, or should I leave so they can find someone better? Thank you, Amethyst Ghostwood, Druid.
Hello, Amethyst. I want you to really pay attention because I'm speaking to you now not simply as Dr. D&D, but also as Mr. D&D. You are not an idiot. You are not useless. If your party is unable to find the best way to utilize them, then it is your party that is useless. Everyone has a place. Adventuring belongs to the entire world. It's about trespassing and yelling and killing at your own discretion and doing it for the good of the world. And you don't need a PhD for that. Trust me, I was a much better adventurer when I did not have my PhD. So, with that being said, you're doing just fine. Have a conversation with your party, and if they don't work with you to find the best way to utilize your skills, fuck that party and move on and find a better one. Ophelia, anything?
I agree. Definitely. I tend to rely on the side of radical honesty. So if your party decides that, is talking down to you or doesn't think that you are the right fit for them, then perhaps I would recommend having someone cast a Zone of Truth spell. and letting everybody just sort of air out their issues in an open and honest way, regardless of whose feelings gets hurt.
Generally, I will never advocate for violence, but if the disrespect continues, you have the means to turn into a bear and deal with these problems, I would not scratch that off of options that you might want to consider.
That is definitely an option. I would recommend talking to your party first.
Yes, of course. Talk to them first.
And then, if they decide that they don't want you, or if they decide that you're just not the right fit for them, then don't be afraid to move on. Honestly, the friendships that you made at the party will still be there if you have made friendships in that party. They will probably still want to keep in touch. You can scry on them, or you can send them do a sending spell every once in a while just to make sure that they're okay. You know.
Absolutely. I'll end this question, or my last take on the question is this: no matter the amount of bullshit, friendships can survive terrible parties, and it's very important to remember that. Susie, is there anything that you would like to add?
Well, yes, I'd like to say #fuck that party. If you have this conversation, it goes badly, circle back round to the last question we had, still fuck that party. That way, as you leave, you can destroy a relationship on your way out. Or don't, whatever. Do what you want. I'm not a cop. Anyway, shall we do the next question?
Actually, I believe that I'm feeling the magic beginning to wane from our Mind Flayer friend. So we're going to start the sunset period of this, where we simply take a step back, kind of look over the questions that we answered today and the experience that we had. And Ophelia, what do you feel is the most important takeaway that adventurers listening to this podcast today should take with them?
That love is very important, that you should trust your party, and wild magic can be used for fun and profit.
I agree. No, I agree, especially randomly being able to cast such interesting spells as you did to your party. Is there any particular takeaway that you feel the adventurers listening today should take with them, Susie?
Well, I will repeat my earlier phrase: "Fuck the party," in all manner of speech. Do what you like.
And I will. My takeaway is going to be somewhere in the middle, which is you. No matter how poorly a party treats you, your friendships with certain members can survive, and if you feel you're being disrespected, take the steps that you want to take to enjoy your time. And if they don't respect that, you can always turn into a bear and eat them and then set them on fire, per Susie's advice. All right.
Just one final addendum, Doc. I've also, through the course of today's show, learned there is literally not a problem in the world that a hammer cannot solve.
Or a saw.
Or a saw.
I don't want details so that I can answer honestly to any authority that might have questions for me. All right. Okay. So that, my friends, has been the first episode of Dr. D&D. It has been a pleasure speaking to all you adventurers. I promise in time we will be able to liven the space up a bit. Ophelia, although you were a surprise, I can say that you were a pleasant one. I just want to again thank everybody who stopped in to listen. I also would like very much to thank the people who are enduring this podcast against their will a bit. And with that, I have another ad read to go through. And this is going to be from our friends at Curious Forge. Come on down to Curious Forge, where they don't muck around with getting your equipment done just right. Just talk to any of our reliable men in yellow and make your request. We can help you with anything as simple as sharpening your blade, building a kite, protection from dragons, or riding a bike. We take care of it all at the Curious Forge. We really do have interesting sponsors. I think that's the problem with our production quality. We need to find better. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the Curious
Not
Forge.
a thing wrong with this production, Doc. It's been a stellar show, and we hope that you all tune in again next week. But before we sign off today, Doc, how about we give a shout out and a little signifier of where you can find us when we're not in the dungeons?
Well, you can find Ophelia wherever Ophelia's going to tell you, because she's going to go first, because that's just good manners. I am not great at hosting.
Hi everybody, out of character now. I am Anita or Panita. You can find me most everywhere at Panita. You could find Ophelia or Odd on Company of the Grey Wolf Wednesdays on Joshua Barbeau's channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/Joshua Barbeau. You can find me also on Scraticus Academy, where I play a sad boy cleric on Rotting Shadows. That's pretty much it for me. I also sort of run my own Twitch and a couple different projects on the go right now. Yeah, check me out. You'll find information generally on my socials.
All right. And Susie?
Hey, out of character, I am regular Susie, not producer Susie right now. But thank you all so much for tuning in. This is an absolute blast. You can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. I now have a PC again, so I will be streaming once more. And you can find me at twitch.tv/Susanna Grace. Everything's just my name. But you'll find me next on Encounter Roleplay tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern for Pendragon's Parish, which is our Dark Ages Call of Cthulhu game. I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you mean by this out of character thing. What are you talking about, Susie? Are you okay?
Uh-huh.
No, I'm just fucking around. Oh God, that's hot. Hi, I'm Enigma. You can find me on all the socials as Noir Enigma. You can find me here every other Monday as Dr. D&D, sweating my ass off. You can also find me on Wednesdays at a Call of Cthulhu game with my friend Niffer. And Thursdays, we're going to be on Valjanet's channel. And last one, I swear to God, on every Sunday, I'll be on Chromatic Chimera in Heavy Mecha, where we have giant robots in space, and we're terribly irresponsible. This has been the first episode of Dr. D&D, and I just wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of time at the end here to say thank you guys very much for listening in. Thank you even more for giving us your questions on Twitter. And also your questions on the Encounter Roleplay Discord. We have an entire Dr. D&D channel. So if you have any questions or you like the interactions here and you'd like to interact more with Dr. D&D, please stop by Encounter Roleplay, drop in. I encourage you to be in character in the Discord, and you will be able to speak with Noir Enigma, Dr. D&D's highly stressed out intern, social media intern, and he will levy the questions off to Dr. D&D, or you can reach Dr. D&D on my Twitter, and Susie and all of us will be in there just keeping this world going. This has been insanely awesome, guys.
I just want to add that if you want to do an actual physical call-in and you record your question in character, we're looking at ways of making that happen. So please, if you've got the means to do so and you want to do so, please do that too. But do hit us up with your questions, because they have been fantastic so far.
We have a ton of questions to still get through, and we want more. The dream for me is for this show to kind of settle some beefs. The TTRPG community is one where we can get a little caught up in headbutting with each other. So I figured this might be a fun way to have our disagreements, but still create peace and have some fun. So again, thank you very, very much, Anita. Thank you very, very much, Lydia and Charlie, for taking this crazy idea and letting me run with it. Thank you guys again for watching, and I hope you all had fun.
All right then, I guess
Yeah.
that's it from us for this week. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for the next episode. Same time slot, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Encounter Roleplay after the wall. But before we do leave you tonight, we're just going to show you one last thing, the trailer for Pendragon's Parish, which is tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on Encounter Roleplay.